got Kings legend, brand new TV analyst. So basically a new teammate of yours, right, Kyle? Yeah.
Let me turn on my microphone. Yeah, Mike will be joining us on pregame, halftime, and postgame. And so it's my pleasure to join welcome in the Kings legend, Mike Bibby. Mike, I appreciate you holding off your nap for us, man. I know them 18 holes, man. It takes a lot out of us, man. I understand. Thanks for coming on with us.
It's rough. Thanks for having me on.
All right, man, let's dive right into it, man. An announcement made by the Kings and NBC Sports California today. You're going to be joining the broadcast team. What made you want to do this, and how much are you looking forward to making your debut tomorrow?
I'm kind of nervous, actually. It's not something like I look back. It was never in my plans to really ever go into this. I thought it's a good way to get back with the Kings and maybe just try to help and try to help the younger players, and maybe some of my talks, maybe constructive criticism could help them get better as a unit.
Mike, you were, as we all know, an excellent three-point shooter, but I think the most you ever took for a season was about 6 per game. How many threes would you and Peja be taking if you guys were playing today?
I'd take at least 15. If they're allowing everybody to take 20, I'd try to get at least 15. I wouldn't want to try to overdo it. 15 would be a good number for me.
Mike, is that the biggest change from when you played, would you say?
Yeah, I think so, because, me coming in, it was more play inside out, throwing into the post, double teams. Now you play out the kickouts. And if he didn't double team, they'll beat you on inside. So, that's a real big change in the game.
Yeah. Are there ways, Mike, in which, and maybe there aren't, I don't mean it to be a leading question, but are there ways that this team reminds you of your old Kings team?
I think they do. They have the people that come off the bench that could, that could come in and probably be starters on other teams. And the way Sabonis passes and the way the offenses run through him sometimes too, that kind of, Vlade Divac remembrance of them too. So, I think so. They look good. They look really, really good. It's good to see them doing good again.
Mike Bibby joining us, Kings legend, of course, played 7 seasons in Sacramento, hit one of the biggest shots in Kings history during that playoff matchup with the Lakers. Mike, I want to continue on sort of comparing this year's team to your time with the Kings. One thing I see, you brought up Domantas Sabonis and his ability to pass, sort of like a Vlade, sort of like a C-Webb. How much easier does that make the game for guys like you when your big man can also handle the rock and dish?
It's something just you got to get used to. I think you have to have a high IQ to do that. I think the Warriors have that. I think the Kings have that. And it's not like a traditional offense that's ran where the point guard brings it up and the offense is run through him and you play out of that way. So, I think you got to have high IQ players to play with a big man that could pass and cut and make reads of how the defense is playing them.
I heard Sam Mitchell describe it this way once. Would you agree with this? Sam Mitchell said this offense, which, the Warriors and the Kings, there's similarities. He said it's not for everybody, but he said if you can shoot and you can move and you can think, you can play in this offense. Would you agree with that? Yeah, definitely. And it's hard to guard. You really can't prepare for it. And I think that's why it's so hard and the guys succeed at it so much is like when you go into to game time stuff and go over their offensive stuff, you really can't pinpoint on what they're going to do. So it's really hard to say, they come to the corner, they dribble off right. It's hard to get ready for it. So, I think that's what makes the team so much better than the other guys.
Mike Bibby joining us here on The Drive, guys. Kevin Gleason, Kyle Draper. Mike, obviously the big news today in the NBA is James Harden going to the Clippers. He joins Paul George. He joins Kawhi Leonard, Russell Westbrook. How much better do you think the Clippers will be with a guy like James Harden?
You can't go wrong with James Harden, but you got 4 of them. I don't know how much of 4 of them are going to play at the same time, but there's only one ball. And, I think 2 of the players need to have the ball in their hands at the same time. So, that's not my decision to make of when they play and what they do, but I think it'll be tough for them as far as Russell Westbrook. And I can't see Russell Westbrook spotting up or James Harden spotting up while other people do their stuff. So, it might be tough. It looks good on paper, but you got to go out there and play the game, see how it works.
Mike, yeah, Jay Will was so popular here, but the Kings needed something, and then they traded him. They brought you in, and you helped solidify this unit and made it a championship caliber team. Speaking of trades, would you be willing to tell us what you felt, what was going through your mind when you first found out you were traded to the Sacramento Kings?
I was elated. You know, I knew the owner of the Grizzlies. I remember like it was yesterday. The owner of the Grizzlies came to me, you know, out of respect. He said, "Mike, we're going to move the team. We're going to move the team, and you know, is there a destination you want to go? We'll probably put your place where you want to go." And I told him, "Yeah." He said, "Give me 5 places where you want to go." I gave him 5 places, and he asked me, "What's your number 1 spot you want to go?" And I said, "Sacramento." And the reason that was is I played for the Grizzlies for 3 years, and I remember the last game of the season, no one really came to watch us play. Whenever we'd go, no one really came to watch us play. We're last place in the league, and you know, 20 games wins, and so we come in there. I remember coming in, and it was sold out crowd, and I was like, the last game of the season, you know, everybody, we're ready to go home, and I was like, I would love to play in front of a crowd like this every night. And how it happened, I was in the gym, and I'm shooting, and, you know, a friend of mine calls my brother, like, "Hey, your brother just got traded here." I was like, "No, I don't think so." I would have heard from my agent. So, I mean, it was like 1 o'clock in the morning, I'm in the gym. And, you know, you always know a trade happens when you go to your phone and you see two area codes, either the team you're playing with and the next team you're going to. So, I saw 916, and I seen a 604, so I knew it had happened. And, you know, I just let out a shout like, you know, thank God. And I think that kind of jump started my career going to Sacramento. I knew that. Shout out to Jay Will too, because I mean, I think he was one of the main reasons that he brought the excitement to Sacramento. So I figured it was going to be hard to take a guy's place like that coming in, but the fans, the team, they treated me like I've been there my whole career, and that's what made it so easy for me to go out there and play.
Wow, Mike Bibby, awesome. That's great stuff, man. I had never heard that story about being in the gym 1 a.m. and getting the word that you were going to be traded, and that Sacramento was at the top of your list. What was it about the team at this time? Did you look at the roster and see a C-Web and see a Vlade? Like, what was it about Sacramento? Was it just the crowd? And obviously we're feeling that right now with the return of the Kings to prominence. What was it about this team at that time?
The fans, the excitement that just to play with guys that played basketball how I was used to playing. You know, I never played in my life of coming down and throwing the ball in the post and hope it comes back out to me. I've never played basketball like that. And so you know, our best players were, you know, Country Reeves and Sharif. So we went to them, and if, you know, they didn't shoot out of a double team or score the ball, then we got to play. But other than that, coming to Sacramento just to play real basketball again. And I remember my first practice, you know, I'd always hit in Vancouver, hit and just run through, go to the other side. And I remember passing the first pass, and I cut through, and I remember I had to duck. The ball almost hit me in my head. and Coach Carrillo, rest in peace, I love him. He was like, "Yeah, be careful. Ball's going to hit you in your damn head." And he just walked off. I said, "Okay, I got to be prepared to play real basketball." So it was great.
You know, Mike, I'm glad you told that story, because I'm sort of going through that on a personal level with my son. Like, he played with a group of guys and didn't have as much fun. It was pass the ball and then never get it back, you know, and he almost thought about giving up the game. Now he's fell in love with it again. And your teammates and your system can really impact your love of the game to an extent. How happy you are, right?
Yeah, definitely, for sure. You know, you get that. You know, some pickup games are like that. You get in pickup games, guy figures it's my turn now. You know, okay, if they throw the ball into me, I'm gonna take the shot. So that's how it is sometimes when you're playing pickup like that. So I mean, it definitely takes a toll on how you play.
Mike Bibby with us. He's a brand new analyst for the Kings, of course, Kings legend, sharing some great memories with us. I got to ask you, Mike, since it's Halloween, People talk about scary things. When you were playing, who was the scariest guy for you to guard? Maybe the toughest, maybe he was physical for whatever reason. Who was the scariest guy for Mike Bibby to defend when you were an NBA player?
I would probably say either Stephon Marbury or Baron Davis. They probably gave me the toughest time because, I mean, they get a lot. The guards that took a lot of shots was kind of tough for me. You know, a guard that would get 20 to 25 shots, because that's going to make me work on, you know, kind of both ends. And I wouldn't say I was really there for my defense, but yeah, it was just tough because you had to play both ends of the court.
Baron Davis and Stephon
B. Diddy, yeah, and Stephon, they were strong guards too, right? Strong with the ball. Mike, obviously looking forward to you tomorrow on the pre-half and post-game show. What's your thoughts on this year's Kings? What's the outlook for them? What are you looking for from this team?
I think they'll do. I think hopefully they can make it to West Coast Conference Championship. I was on a show this past year. It gave them all the benefit of the doubt. I was hoping. I was out of the country. I was hoping to come back and make it either Game 5 or Game 7, but I was out of the country, so I didn't get to make it. I thought they would get past that round, but they didn't. But I always have the confidence in them. I think that they're a young team. They can run. If they get on a run and Fox uses speed to, you know, kind of initiate and get everybody to run with them, I think they could go a long way.
Mike, real quick before I let you go, man, I know that nap is calling you, big fella. I know you're looking forward to it. What's the message to Kings fans, man? Because I'm telling you, the buzz in the city, the vibe, having you back, having be a part of this. What do you want to say to Kings fans out there going into tomorrow?
I'm great to be. It's great to be back. It's great to be a part of the Sacramento Kings again, and I'm here. Let's go. Let's bring it back to early 2000 vibes.
Mike Bibby.
Thank you,
our
Mike.
guy. See
We
you tomorrow,
appreciate
Mike.
Thank you for having me.
All right, man. Great stuff. Yes, sir.
Happy Halloween. We'll take a quick timeout. When we come back, we will break down our conversation with, I think Jerry used to call him the Bibbinator, Mike Bibby. It's Drive Guys. We'll be right back on Sactown Sports.